Alright, time for another quick video. And this one is a tech video. I just wanted to talk about why I don't think, and this is just a little tech topic, that so-called 2-in-1s, which are something like it wants to be a tablet and a laptop together, which seem to be a pretty popular genre right now. And I get the cool ideas of it and everything, but why, in my opinion, they just don't work. And it's like, here, I wanted to put a Galaxy Tab S6. Look at this. It's selling you an idea. Like, man, look at this. Look at this great tablet that just becomes this convenient little laptop replacement. That's a big term you hear, laptop replacement. Well, in my own home, I use a desktop computer most of the time. Call me old school, whatever. Then I have a couple of other screens, mostly because I'm a gadget geek, not because I need them. I have a HP Chromebook X2, which is kind of a 2-in-1 laptop Chromebook. And then I've even been getting a tablet. I had a tablet like 10 years ago, or maybe a few years ago, and I didn't really care and I didn't really use it much. So off of that, I decided I don't need another tablet. But being a massive gadget geek and just drooling over these gadgets all the time, I eventually did pick up, I think, an iPad because it was on such a crazy sale. I can't remember how much I got it for. It was like $180 new through some combinations of discounts and things and hunting down deals, and this something like that. It was maybe $200 new. It was cheap, maybe around $210 at the most new for like an iPad. And I didn't know a whole lot about tablets at that time. The low cost iPad, the cheapest iPad, which by the way is the best selling iPad. So don't let all the Apple fanboys tell you about how great the Pro is, because I read that like 70% of iPad sales are the cheapo version. But anyways, why? So I got into tablets a little, and I kind of enjoyed the little iPad. Then I got I picked up on clearance at Best Buy, really great deal. I picked up a Galaxy Tab S4 from Samsung a few months ago for $155. Incredible deal, right? It wasn't new; it was open box, and but basically it's pretty new. I'm on this forum called Slick Deals. If you know about it, it's like millions of people go there, and it's all these hot deals. And if you're quick enough, you can get some incredible deals. This was one such instance. They posted about these deals that Best Buy was selling these Tab S4s for $155 open box. Go down to your Best Buy and see if they got one. Sure enough, they did. Or you could actually order it online to hold in store. If your local Best Buy had one. Now, the one thing I didn't like about it is I thought it was in perfect condition at first. It didn't come with any accessories, but it ended up having a little scratch in the middle of the screen. And this scratch is like not even visible. But I'm so OCD that I soured on the whole tablet once I discovered that scratch. It took me a while to even notice it. But once I discovered it, I couldn't stand the tablet anymore, even though I loved it before. So I'm ending up selling it and getting an S5 tab, trading it in and getting a Tab S5e, which is coming in the mail in a couple days. But I love this S4, and it was an amazing tablet because the OLED screen is so much better than the iPad screen. Don't let anybody lie to you about that. The iPad is a great device. I'm an Apple hater, but I admit that. I just hate the locked down Fisher-Price operating system and how you can't move the damn icons on your home screen. That really, really bugs me because it's so fundamental. It's like Apple saying, you're not going to do things the way you want. You're going to do things the way we want. And that the Apple fanboys may love that, but I don't. That's why I'm more of an Android person. But anyways, to get back to this tablet cat thing. So, I've had experience with tablets recently. I had the iPad, which I gave away. And then I had the Tab S4, which is last gen, but a really nice tablet. And I'm getting the Tab S5e here soon. Or I might get the Tab S6 even. Still debating that. Even though the Tab S5e is coming like in 2 days. But anyways, but yeah, so I've been into this concept of 2-in-1s and whatnot. And I have, my Chromebook is what's called a HP Chromebook X2, which is a very 2-in-1 Chromebook. You can rip the entire screen off the keyboard. It hooks up by some magnets. It's one of these 2-in-1s. I should have put a picture of it beforehand. But I have a 2-in-1 Chromebook. It has a Intel Core M3, this and that. It only has 4GB RAM. I think I've had it for a couple years, so at that time 4GB RAM was more acceptable. It still runs fine. I don't do heavy work with any of my devices. It runs good. So yeah, and it's neat because you can pull the entire screen off and use it as a tablet, right? But what I found is I don't use it as a tablet. I just don't. It's too big, it's too heavy, you know? And Chrome OS is not really a good tablet OS. I mean, I don't know. I don't know the ins and outs of OSs like some of these tech reviewers do. I don't use them as much. I definitely don't use them for work or, any like video editing or anything. I don't edit my YouTube videos. So, I can't speak like from a perfect position of knowledge to say the least, but I just found that around my house I don't use the Chromebook X2 as a tablet. I don't rip the screen off and use it as a tablet. It's heavy, and you get a real tablet, it's laughable. It's like twice as heavy and thick and clunky. Now, if I was just sitting at home, I'd laugh at that. I'd be like, oh, I'd love to have I think people really like the concept of 2-in-1s. They think it'll make them happy. They think it'll be great. But I don't know if the reality's there. I've heard people just gush, I'm going to get this nice 2-in-1. I'm going to have a tablet and a computer. They're really jazzed on the concept, but I think the reality kind of always sucks. Like I said, I have not used my Chromebook X2 as a tablet almost at all. And not only that, but the design suffers because it's a 2-in-1. If you look at the Chromebook X2 specifically, it's kind of top heavy. It's not weighted like a traditional laptop because all of the guts, so to speak, are in the tablet, so it's kind of heavy. So the screen is kind of, it's not weighted like a normal laptop has a heavier base and kind of a lighter screen. And it has a better foundation. The Chromebook X2, it's fine and it's stable and everything, but it's just top heavy. And it's just kind of a little annoying, not a deal breaker, not a big deal. I still like the device a lot. But my point is, like, a traditional laptop has more of a foundation, I guess. And I think that's kind of superior. But the Chromebook X2 works fine as just a regular laptop, right? Not detaching the screen, even though you can. And that's what I use it as. And as I've been saying here, I just don't use the 2-in-1 functionality much. Not that it might not come in handy every once in a great while. But what I end up doing is using that as a dedicated laptop. And then I'll have a dedicated tablet, either this iPad or the Samsung right now. And I don't use those a lot either, but I actually do use them. There's a couple of use cases. I really don't use any of my second screens. Mainly I use my laptop. I set it on the coffee table and I use it when I'm playing Xbox. Just being honest, that's my use case for it. Everybody has a different use case. And I was heavy into Destiny for like 6 years. I played it a lot. And so I really needed a tablet on my coffee table because I would play Destiny on my Xbox. And I would look up all kinds of guides, stats. Destiny, it's basically an RPG. There's this app called Destiny Item Manager that's like essential to look at all the stats on your weapons, transfer them to your character because it doesn't have a good transfer in game at all. Essential program. And then I would, keep the Destiny Reddit open a lot. I would always because they would post really fantastic guides on there. How to do certain content, how to optimize builds, whatever it might be. YouTube, I might need to look up a YouTube tip video or YouTube guide video. So it's great to have it was just my Destiny laptop. I never needed even a laptop before. and now I did. Since then, I've kind of voluntarily quit Destiny mostly, or completely. And, so now that I don't really play Destiny anymore, the laptop does go mostly unused, which I quit it mostly a few months ago. But I got a lot of use before then for playing Destiny. Right? Like I said, it was great to have a laptop open in front of me for a million uses, you know, to look up stuff about Destiny. Also, maybe to look up like sports scores and things like that while I was playing Destiny. Maybe I'd be playing Destiny one evening. I want to know who was leading the basketball game I was interested in. You know, use the laptop to go to ESPN.com. Yeah, you can do it on your phone as well, but you know, laptop's nicer in a lot of ways than a phone. Or I might not have my phone right there, or whatever the case. It's just always good to have that laptop. So, my point is the usually you end up, there's several issues here, and I wanted to unpack them, so to speak. Oh, and the tablet, I got a tablet. Like I said, just goofing around because I got such a great deal on that iPad after years of thinking that I didn't like a tablet because I had one before. It was a crappy little Samsung, and I just never used it much. So I kind of came to the conclusion off of that, well, I don't really need or like a tablet. It just doesn't fit into my daily use case at all. But I did get one because it was so cheap, and I love gadgets, and I sort of kind of started liking them again. And my use case for a tablet, honestly, the main thing that I do with it, I noticed the main thing that I actually, for a while, I would hook it to I got like a Peloton, that's the cool word now, but really it's just an exercise bike. Awesome exercise bike, I should do a review. Because I got it off Amazon for $150 a year or two ago, and it's amazing. Compared to my old clunky exercise bike I had for years before that. It's so much better, but it's amazing. Got off of Amazon, looking at their best sellers. That's a great tactic to find, hidden gems, because the best sellers is usually a good product because people like it. Anyways, so I have like a tablet mount on you can get that off of Amazon too. A mount that'll hold the tablet that goes on any exercise bike, universal, has kind of a strap system. Anyways, so I would watch YouTubes on the tablet while I was riding the exercise bike. And that is a good, or Netflix, whatever. And that was, maybe not Netflix, just TV shows, whatever. So that was a good system, but I've come to, unfortunately, that was one definite use case where I needed a tablet. But even that is kind of fallen by the wayside, because what I found is that my exercise bike is in the same room as my computer, my PC that I'm filming this at. So it's better to just, most times now I queue up a YouTube video that I want to watch. I only ride the bike for like 10 minutes at a time, so I'll queue up a YouTube video. That sounds stupid, but I'd rather do like several little 10-minute sessions in a day than ride it for like 30 minutes at a time or something. It's just, I get too bored doing it any other way. So I'll queue up a little 10-minute video. Most YouTube videos happen to be around 10 minutes anyway. But I found it's better and easier to just queue up the next YouTube I want to watch on my PC, and since they're in the same room, I can just watch I got a 32-inch monitor, I can just watch it from my exercise bike and listen. So I don't really need the tablet sitting right in front of me. It's nice. It's better to watch the tablet right in front of you than the monitor from far away in some ways, but it's also more of kind of a hassle because it's hard to manipulate the tablet while you're riding the bike, I guess the plus of the tablet system that I haven't been using lately was that sometimes I'll queue up a YouTube video I think I want to watch, I'll start watching it and it's boring, so then I got to change the video, or ideally I'll change the video because this one's kind of boring. Watch something else. But shut up, Alexa. So I'll be watching the YouTube. Oh yeah, so if I'm sitting there and I've started biking, for a couple minutes, Now I gotta get off the bike and go change the YouTube video if it's boring. Or if it's a tablet right in front of my face, I can do that right from the bike. But again, it is sort of annoying to try to pedal your bike all hard and be fidget, even though it's in a stand, and be trying to manipulate the tablet in any meaningful way, That's hard anyways. Clicking around YouTube and stuff while you're trying to pedal, not hold the handlebars and things. But still, so that's kind of, like I said, it was a use case at first to actually justify a tablet, but over time I've kind of slipped into just using the PC. I find it easier to just queue up a YouTube on the PC and go ride the bike than fiddle with the tablet on the bike. But that's still kind of up in the air. I still might prefer the tablet thing, so we'll see on that. But so that was an actual thing that I used tablets for, other than having like absolutely no use at all. And then the second thing is this past year, I started watching NFL games on it, and I really liked this use case. And this is like the one use case that I really use it for. Is while I'm surfing the web, which is I do a lot. I don't know, it just entertains me. Surfing video game message boards, YouTube, whatever. Now I'll have an NFL game, and this part of the thing that allowed this to come about is Yahoo Sports. People may not know this, but it's awesome, and it's an app. It gives like every NFL game for free. I think it's every nationally televised one, or it's every NFL game free. It's amazing. And you stream it on your phone, your tablet, whatever. It's hard to get on a TV because I think they don't want it on TV to compete. You probably have to have something that casts, like a Chromecast or something to do that. I'm not sure. Or you'd have to cast your phone, do it. But it's more native to phones and tablets. And it's great, and because it's free. It's freaking free to have NFL games stream and great quality and everything free is amazing. And so what I'll do is if there's a Thursday night football game, a Monday night football game, whatever it may be, that maybe it's not my team, but I'm just kind of keeping it in the background. Yeah, I stream that. I put it in my tablet in a little $5 stand you can buy off Amazon. Put it like on my computer desk. I have a really roomy computer desk. It's more of a picnic table than anything. It's great because then I can surf the web, and I can also kind of keep this game. I'll usually maybe mute the sound and just kind of watch, glance at it here and there. And that's great. That's a great use case. So that's my one use case, which is kind of limited. I thought I would like a tablet for grabbing, and okay, this is going to be gross, but grabbing when I go to the bathroom, taking a dump, whatever. But I find that I don't use it that way. It's just I'll just use my phone if anything for that. So that's not even a good use case. Another use case is I'll take it and I'll put it in the stand in the kitchen, and watch YouTubes while I cook or whatever. I don't really cook per se, but fix a meal, let's say. And I do some very, very light cooking, or whatever, doing dishes, whatever, So that is, all those are decent use cases that actually do come up. But I find that most of them are pretty nebulous. Like, I don't really use my tablet for any of those things. Because it's a pain in the butt to, you gotta have something you want to watch. You gotta queue it up, And more, honestly, I find in the kitchen I'll be more listening to podcasts or something like that, if anything. Usually I'll just listen to a podcast while I'm doing dishes or fixing a meal, more than queuing up a video that's hard to pay attention to anyway while you're doing something else in the kitchen, But that's another potential use case. So all that, I guess I got completely off track here because now it's almost a 20-minute video, and I think I've, as usual, lost all focus. What the original focus of the video was, which is just that none of these 2-in-1s work well, and the reasons are several-fold. Either if it's a laptop as a tablet, like let's say a Surface, I looked up the weight. I don't have a Surface, so I wasn't sure how heavy they are, but they're pretty heavy. I think it's like 1.7 pounds it starts at. Well, a dedicated good light tablet is around 1 pound or a little less. So I know that the Surface would be heavy. Surface Pro, whatever. Just like my Chromebook tablet. It's going to be similar to that. Or my Chromebook 2-in-1. So yeah, the ones that are more like laptops that detach are too heavy. There's two big problems. They're too heavy, too bulky, and they have crappy tablet operating systems. They usually come with Chrome or Windows, that's another crux of what I wanted to talk about. The operating system issue. Basically, in my opinion, there's two good operating systems for the desktop. Chrome, or Windows is the gold standard, and to a lesser extent Chrome. And then there's two good operating systems for tablets. iOS and Android. And they don't meet, so you're going to have one or the other, but like let's say you're using the Tab S6 as your laptop. It's going to be running on Android. That's not a good desktop OS. Now Samsung does have DeX mode. I haven't played with it a lot. I'm not an expert. I've played with it some. Basically, it does give you the capacity to run Windows and whatnot. A windowed environment, not Windows per se. So it is good and everything, but who knows what the compatibility is like? I don't know what kind of issues you might run into because you're running some goofy browser. You can just run Chrome, but it's probably like a mobile Chrome or something, and apparently there's a difference in that and desktop Chrome. There's all these. I don't know what kind of. There's going to be gotchas with anything like that. I haven't played with it enough to know, but I'm sure there's tons of gotchas, where you're like trying to do something and it's like, oh, I can't do it because it's on the Samsung DeX thing, whatever it may be. Other than straight just running a browser in it, which granted for me, captures most of my usage, but that's me, you may not be the same. So that's the problem with trying to use for an iPad. If you're trying to use an iPad, no, iOS iPad OS is terrible for the desktop, and it doesn't even have proper mouse support. It has some mouse support supposedly, but you get this weirdo blob that's like a finger, and I don't know if it works decently or not, but I don't care, man. I want my cursor. Until Apple gives me a cursor, that alone, screw it. The Apple fanboys try to tell you that's not mouse support. I'm a dummy support. That's grandma's too dumb to understand what a mouse is, so we pretend like it's your finger. I hate it. I hate the whole concept of it. I guess it's something, but I would never use it. But the next thing is, for an iPad, it doesn't have any connectors. The great thing about my Android tablets, all it has is the crappy-ass Lightning connector. Proprietary bullcrap. The great thing about my Tab S6, my Galaxy Tab S4 or whatever, if I want to run them in desktop mode, if I want to hook a keyboard to them, they have USB-C. So I have a lot of Logitech USB keyboards, which are like the best way to run wireless keyboards, really. It's another thing these snotty-ass tech reviewers never talk about that's a big deal in real life. It's keyboards. Wireless keyboards. Now, there's no good options. There's Bluetooth keyboards, but I've not really run them, so I can't comment on them too much. But one of the issues is hooking Bluetooth up to anything is annoying. And once it's, you leave it there to sleep or whatever, then you got to repair. Or it may not pair back up perfectly, or it may on some versions of Bluetooth, some it may. I don't know all the details, but what I've messed with on Bluetooth is fairly annoying, except on something discreet like listening to podcasts. But for peripherals, There's a reason if you go on Walmart and look at wireless mice. I was in a Walmart the other day looking at wireless mice. There was not a single, not even one, because I wanted to buy one. I was in the market to pick up a Bluetooth mouse and just mess with it. A cheap one, and see how it goes. There was not a single wireless Bluetooth mouse, and there was like 10 different kinds of wireless mice. They all run off this dongle concept, which is you have a USB dongle, and they're all old USB-A. That's another problem. And apparently it just works much better, and I've taken to use it on the desktop, and I can say those wireless mouses running off a dongle, mouse and keyboard combos too, are perfect, because they're just like a wire. You just plug it in and it just works. You instantly connect it. There's none of this Bluetooth pairing and connecting crap. None of it, It's just there. You plug it in, it works. Just like a wire. And so that's the reason these USB mice have taken over and Bluetooth mice barely exist, But that setup, that USB setup, is hard to get to any of these convertible form factors because they run off USB-A. I don't see any USB-C wireless mice. And here's the thing: I have a wireless mouse keyboard combo, which is the ultimate in simplicity. It's an awesome thing from Logitech. It's like $20, high quality. When it gets dirty after like a year, I literally just buy a new one because $20, who cares? It's awesome. I love Logitech stuff. But it runs, it runs until I throw it away off of I think it's a single AA battery. I mean, they're amazing. Oh, the keyboard takes like 2 AAAs that come with it. I mean, it's just, and those will last you probably forever. It's great. But yeah, so the issue is getting that kind of setup that I use on my desktop to any of these tablets and keyboards. And you couldn't get it into an iPad at all because you got to use the Lightning Connect. So I believe the only way to get a keyboard and mouse going on an iPad, can you even do a mouse? I don't know. Maybe you can do a Bluetooth mouse. Maybe that's how you do it on an iPad. I never thought of that. Maybe you could use a Bluetooth setup. But still, it's terrible because of the weird, like, the no cursor system. Not true mouse support in my opinion. And if you want a keyboard, really, you can do Bluetooth. Like I said, that's a pain, or you'd have to go to the expensive Apple one. So it's just not ideal. And the OS on Apple is not going to be a good desktop OS. It's a good tablet OS, So, I mean, you're back to the same problems, You either get a trash OS for the desktop or a trash OS for your tablet. Pick your poison, If you get a tablet that converts to a PC or a laptop, you're going to be having a crappy laptop OS. If you get a laptop that converts to a tablet, you're going to be having a crappy tablet OS and a heavy, chunky ass tablet, And here's no. So if the laptops that convert to tablets have the problem of having heavy tablet portions, the tablets that convert back to laptops have the opposite problem, and this is also a really big one. They have really tiny screens. And like I noticed this on my Tab S6, S4. It's a 10.1 inch screen. It's tiny. It's really tiny. It's cramped. You wouldn't really want to be using that as a tablet, as a laptop. You could in a pinch, and you could. But it's just too tiny. And the thing is, I have my Chromebook X2. It's only a 12.3 inch screen. But it's 4:3, which makes it seem a lot more spacious versus a 16:9. A 16:9 or 16:10 screen is great on a tablet for viewing videos, but it gives you a lot less screen space overall versus a 4:3 form factor. So it's great for media, and it's not great for laptop, So again, that's your problem. If you're going to use a tablet as a little mini laptop, the screen's really small and cramped on these 10.x inches, You don't want to do that. Like I said, the screen on my Chromebook X2 is like a 12.3, I think. But it feels like it's twice as big as the screen on my Samsung Tab S4 when I'm using it in DeX mode, It's great, It's much, it's probably only 30 or 40% bigger in actual screen area, because the inches don't tell the whole story. A lot depends on the aspect ratio and things. So you can't necessarily, a 12.3 inch screen is a lot, 4:3 screen is a lot bigger than a 10.1 or 10.5 16:9 screen. More so than the inches really would even tell you. Plus, when you're talking about diagonals, a little bit is a big difference. Like, if you have a 55-inch TV compared to a 65-inch TV, if you think about that, if you were just a layperson, you'd be like, oh, the 65-inch TV is not that much bigger. But if in person, it's like half again as big. I mean, square area increases a lot with the diagonal, So the small fluctuations, like a 10-inch screen versus a 12-inch screen, is a massive gulf, Not even getting into the 4:3 versus 16:9 stuff. So most of the 12-inch screens are 4:3. So that's what I mean. Like my Chromebook X2, it has like a 12.3 inch screen, but it's just massively more roomy feeling than the Tab S4. So yeah, you've always got that problem too. You've got those two huge problems. If you go to if you have a tablet and you use it as a a laptop, it's going to be an Apple or a Samsung, and it's going to be crappy OS for desktop environment. If you go with the laptop that converts to a tablet, then it's going to be okay. Let's say there's two big problems. If you have a tablet that converts to a laptop, it's going to be a nice tablet. It's going to be a poor laptop. It's going to have a poor OS, and it's going to have a cramped screen, generally speaking. Huge problems. Two huge problems. Now, if you go the opposite direction and you go from basically a laptop that converts to a tablet, you're going to have two huge problems: a heavy tablet and a poor tablet OS. Here's another thing: expense. You're getting really expensive here. If you look at the better, nicely tricked out, you think you could save money, because I always fall into this trap too. Of like, hey, if I could just got one device that was a great tablet and it doesn't exist as I've been talking about this whole video, but the allure is strong. Like, if I could have one device as a great tablet and a great laptop, it would save me money because I have one device. So, like, why buy a $500 laptop and a $500 tablet if I could buy $1,000 or $800 2-in-1 and have a better all-around product, a nicer product because it's more expensive, and have a laptop and a tablet all in one. So it's a nice dream, and save $200. That's a nice dream, but it just doesn't exist in reality. Like I said, the Tab S6, it's normally $650 for just the tablet. And then you're throwing on, like, the keyboards are ridiculously overpriced. I don't know exactly what the Tab S6 keyboard and hinge and stuff is, but I'm sure it's like $150 at least. So now you're up to $800 normally. It's $100 off right now, so you're up to $800, Same thing with the Surface, you're similar price range. Surface Pros run $900 to $1,000+ iPad, you don't want to run that as it would be total garbage as a laptop, but you're still looking at, for the nice keyboard, you're looking at $250 at least for the tablet, and then the nice keyboard would be, if you use the Apple one, it's like $130 at least, or $180, I don't know, $150, let's call it $150. So you'd be looking at a minimum of $400, and then you still don't have any. You still have a 3 GB RAM, 32 GB storage. What kind of laptop is that? Granted, I'm one who doesn't usually care about storage, so I could understand that angle, because I generally just run everything as like almost a cloud book. But still, you see how everything gets expensive, and there's no good options there. I'll say that. And the Lenovo Duet is a decent one, but it's only $300 comes keyboard, but it's kind of underpowered, and it doesn't overcome the problems I've talked about in this video. It's a 10.1 inch 16:9 screen, or 10.5, something like that. So it's going to be cramped, as a laptop, and it's going to run Chrome OS, which isn't a good tablet OS. You see what I mean? So it doesn't really, I think it's a nice concept, and I love the price, and I think it comes close because it's a good tablet. I talked about how the laptops that run as tablets are, they have clunky tablets, but it's not a clunky tablet, it's like an actual tablet. But it runs Chrome OS, it's just not a good tablet OS, So you see that the problem's just, so I've found that it's better and more cost effective to just run like a laptop. I got my nice Chromebook a couple years ago, whatever it was. I don't even remember now. Maybe it's even 3 years ago. But I got it for it has a really nice screen. It's like a 2560 by 1600 400 nit screen, and I really prioritize screen. Like I said, the one downside is that it only has 4 GB of RAM, which when I bought it 2-3 years ago was less of an issue, and I still don't consider it an issue personally. It runs fine for my basic light web browsing that I do. But if there was something going forward that it'd be nice to have 8 GB of RAM in it. But I run that, and I think that cost around $500 when I bought it, which was a long time ago. And then I run like a 200. So for $250, I could pick up an iPad, and I have a nice tablet. I have a nice laptop type thing, which I just use it as a laptop. I don't really use it as a tablet. And I get another benefit. I have two screens. Every once in a while I have two discrete devices. That can be nice. You know, I kind of like leaving the laptop on the coffee table and then maybe taking the tablet in the kitchen. You know, it gives more screens often gives you more flexibility because you can just leave one in one place and leave one in another. Like sometimes I go hit the punching bag in the other room. I have a punching bag in one of my rooms. And now, again, I'll be wanting to watch a YouTube while I do that. You know, something to keep me occupied while I work out a little bit. So I can just carry the tablet in there. You still have the problem of the speakers on tablets aren't loud enough to be heard over a good workout. So you have to have some kind of speaker set up. But you can just get a Bluetooth speaker or whatever. Or, you know, just some little speakers that run off the headphone jack, whatever the case may be. And set them up permanently where you may bring the tablet. But you see what I mean? So I just find that, you know, let's say I spent $750 and I end up with a decent laptop and a decent tablet, and they're both going to be like worlds better than a 2-in-1. Like the laptop, I can actually type nicely and get some nice screen real estate on it. Whereas if I was to run like a Tab S6 or an iPad with a little keyboard, you know, I won't be able to type nicely and I won't have good screen real estate, you know. You know what I mean? It just works out better. And the tablet will be real nice because it's a tablet and it has a nice tablet OS, and I can just watch movies or whatever on it. You know, I don't have to. It's not going to be clunky like a 2-in-1 tablet that converts to a laptop. It's not going to be heavy. It's going to have a nice, easy to use OS, Android or iPad. So that's it. That's my whole video. I've talked for almost 40 minutes, incredibly enough. I wish I hadn't talked all that about my use cases earlier. That's why, I mean, I don't script these videos at all. I just go in and just talk. And that's kind of a problem. I guess I should script them. But yes, I just wanted to talk about that. There's always this allure of a 2-in-1, but I've just not found it to be achievable yet. Or I don't know if it ever will, you know. To me, I'm better off buying two devices, a discrete, nice, or decently nice laptop for a deal, and a decent low-cost tablet versus spending more on one device. And again, then I only have one screen, which sometimes is a nice advantage, like I said, to have multiple screens. Or what if you have company and you give one of them the tablet and, you know, you play on the laptop or whatever, you know. A lot of times it may be nice to have, it's an actual pretty good advantage to have two or more screens than just have one, you know. So yeah, that's just my thoughts on it. And like I said, the price for the good 2-in-1s, which are basically the Surface line and the Samsungs, is very high, you know. So you're not saving money, really, because they're very premium products. Except maybe with the Lenovo Duet, that's a totally different use case. And I've already praised that a lot. I think if you're really on a budget, I think that's a great option. Or I guess even an iPad with the Apple keyboard could be only like $400, but I still just I just do not like anything with iPad OS and a mouse together. That's like oil and water to me. I hate that so-called Apple mouse support. And yeah. So when I was talking about the tablets, you can just get a cheap USB keyboard, wireless keyboard, and hook it up to it. I do that with my tablet with Dex, and I can get this Logitech keyboard for $20, and it's nice. And put the tablet in the stand and just do it that way. You know, it's not as ideal, but it's also much more spacious and easy to type on. And for a house situation, it wouldn't be good for taking to school or something, but for being in a house, it's perfect. And instead of spending $200 on their overpriced keyboard, I can spend $20 on a Logitech USB wireless keyboard. But anyways, but yeah, and you can't do that on the Apple. But anyways, so yeah, those are just all some of the various issues going on here, and why the whole laptop replacement or laptop tablet sector, in my opinion, is kind of a false hope. Even as I like them myself, you know, if that makes any sense. And I've just found that a discrete laptop and a discrete tablet will always serve you better. And I was stalling because I knew there was another topic I wanted to touch on. I couldn't remember it, but now I remember it. It's is there any hope that, like, I think somebody could do well in the market if they could bridge all these problems that I just talked about. You know, the size thing is one thing. I think you can do, if you ran a 4x3 size and like a 12-inch, I think that's where you could overcome the size constraints, because you can build a nice tablet out of that, and it had to be thin and light like a tablet. You could build a nice tablet out of that, and it would have a good, decent amount of screen real estate, like say the iPad Pro or the Surface, but it'd have to be lighter. Surface is too heavy. So that would be your form factor that you need, in my opinion. A 10-point-X screen is not going to do it because it's not spacious enough for the laptop part of it. And then, but here's the big thing. I don't know, that it seems insurmountable to me. Who's going to do the OS part right? I don't see any of the four, Android, Chrome, Windows, or Apple, as being able, none of them are going to be able to. Android's never going to be able to make a great desktop OS. Apple's never going to be able to make a great desktop OS. At least not with iPad OS. I mean, I guess some people probably think Mac OS is. You know, they're separate products. Windows isn't going to be able to make a great tablet OS. I have no faith in that. You know, it would be nice if Windows, which was great as a tablet OS, ain't great as a desktop OS, but it's not. Chrome isn't either. Android isn't either, and iPad OS isn't either. So, you know, that's the thing you'd have to bridge that would be kind of insurmountable. I could see somebody doing the hardware right one of these days. If they had a 12.3 inch or a 12 inch, probably 4x3 aspect ratio, light, so it would have to probably come with a Snapdragon, not an Intel. You know, all that good stuff. You could do that side right. It would have to be a little bit cheaper, you know, stop gouging so much on these insanely overpriced keyboard. But to get to the part where you have a good OS on both sides, that's the real issue that I don't see being solved in the near future, unfortunately. Anyways, that's my video.